While in this collection of snippets from my films, we deal with Newbridge of the 70s. I should say Newbridge of the burgeoning 70s. Industry was expanding, schools were growing, and indeed extra facilities for schools were needed. And actually we open our film with some scenes of the opening of the new gym at the Patrician Brothers Boys' School. And an impressive guard of honour of pupils here to welcome Eamon Coughlin and Anne Sinnott of wheelchair fame. Indeed, there is great excitement for this occasion, as up to now sporting facilities in the town were very scarce. The Murphy PP leading the crowd there, and he soon gets the ceremony underway.
Let us pray. Father, Almighty and eternal God, we come together here today to ask you in your goodness to keep under your special care and protection this gymnasium. We ask you to bless this building, give peace of mind and body to all who use it. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Bless especially the members of the community in Newbridge. Grant that their works may prosper. We pray and follow our religious vocation.
And the man with the task of thanking the many who helped in this great project, Brother Joseph Doheny.
Welcome you on here today. I would like to extend that welcome too to the members of the Olympic team. Eamon Coughlin, 1,500 metres is...
Indeed, at this time, Eamon Coughlin had just reached the top in Ireland here with his career and would soon become world famous chairman of the boards.
I would like to thank Brother Joseph and Joe Coughlin here for inviting us down to the opening of your new gymnasium. To Jerry, music, Anne and John, they're out there every day breaking their necks, training very, very hard, putting all their time and effort into training. And the only way we are being successful is because we're putting the time and the effort into it.
And a proud day indeed for Father McDermott, deeply involved with local youth.
I honestly believe that very few other people could have done it. I mean that really, truly, and sincerely. I think also that this building today is, to a great extent, a community's appreciation of what the brothers have done and offered to the people of Newbridge, particularly to the education of their young children.
The band of the Curra training camp show their expertise with a very intricate piece under the baton of Commandant Dennis Mellerick. John Grogan here, a very accomplished pianist involved in a lot of things in the parish. Newly formed Droichead Nua community band. They have made great progress in a very short time. Rings from the Patrician Brothers' own school band under Brother Michael. The beautiful voice of Marie Milan there, and the Army Band brings the show to a close with the Boys of Wexford. But it's festival time, 1973, and Eyre Street and Henry Street community get everything going, and all the fun of the fair is here, so roll up, folks. Now, it has been known for someone to take bets on a donkey derby. Now, I wonder what Ned Donnelly's haggling there about. At least the cap is still on the Kildare side, anyway. Somehow, I don't think it's just that someone took his knitting on him, but at least all's well that ends well. And I think eventually everyone's in good humour again. Liam Ward, Jack Lavelle and Paddy Farrell keep the festivities going well into the night, and it's obviously a great success for the Junior Chamber who organised the festivities. Well, John McLaughlin, we've just seen there where the Eyre Street festivities got underway there in the Festival of '73, and obviously this was, there's great excitement and great camaraderie and cooperation by people, and as part of a very big festival you were president in that year, and I'm sure it must have been a very big project to get on the way.
Well, it was indeed, but I suppose I should refer back to our first festival in 1970. That's when it all started. The army, of course, was the core of the whole thing, with a big military parade up the front street on the opening night. In the early days we had Larry Bradley, who was our founding president, and Larry, of course, was an FCA officer, and because of that he had great connections with the army, and it was he who approached the army initially and got them interested, and they became very interested because they were had a big recruiting campaign on in the early 70s, and they had great difficulty in getting young men for whatever reason to join the army at that stage, and they welcomed this display, this public display, and that's when they rode in. Of course, besides the army, we had all the sporting clubs in Newbridge, of which there are very, very many, and all the voluntary organisations, and of course our own committee, and all the business people who helped us and became involved in the exhibition which was held in the town hall.
Yes, you mentioned there the business people. It was also a time when Newbridge was after beginning to burgeoning at the seams, was increasing industry and increasing schools for extra population and all that too.
Oh, indeed. It was around about that time that Newbridge Industries came to Newbridge, and we had a few other small factories came at that time too. I feel that we more or less put Newbridge on the map, and Newbridge became, because of those activities, became, I would like to think, a more important centre, and I would like to think that Newbridge somehow benefited down through the years because of those.
It would eventually, the town would eventually, of course, like all towns, get hit with kind of an industrial slump, but At that time there was a great pride, and of course now as we speak, of course in the 90s, there's a great pride and progress again.
Oh yes, this the upturn in our economy. Newbridge is doing very well. It's gone on to a population of over 20,000, I think, and business is booming, and house building is unprecedented in Newbridge. Newbridge is really expanding at a very rapid rate now.
At the official opening, the Minister for Defence, Mr. Patrick Dunnigan, and members of his family are greeted by Junior Chamber President John McLaughlin at Hotel Cadeen. Colonel Thomas MacDonald chatting with Jerry Smith of IMI and the Minister and Donald Shannon. Tommy Dunn, a prominent Newbridge figure, and Paddy Power, TD. Lieutenant Colonel Noonan. Paddy Malone, TD, being greeted by Billy Murphy. Major General T.L. O'Carroll and Mrs. O'Carroll.
Officially open this Festival of Newbridge for 1973. Thank you. Leading the parade, we have an attachment from the Equitation School in Wickborough.
Music is supplied by the combined number 1 Army Band and the Corps Training Camp Band. This armoured car, which headed the parade, is the famous Slieve na Man. It was on escort duty with General Michael Collins when he was killed in the ambush at Ballinabla, County Cork, on the 22nd of August 1922. It appeared in the recent film on Michael Collins. The excellent Rolls-Royce engine there still in perfect condition. Following the parade, Army tricked motorcyclists are putting on a great display at the GAA grounds.
Army tricked motorcyclist of the Cavalry Corps. The Kilkenny majorettes, secured specially for the occasion, set a smart pace. The 15,000 spectators included Colonel Lee of the Military College, Colonel Swan of the Air Corps and Colonel Burke OC Curragh Camp. Colonel MacDonald and Mrs. MacDonald enjoying the show. The Minister for Defence with Colonel O'Brien and General Theo Carroll.
In the mock battle that follows, Cessna planes have spotted some subversives hanging out, and helicopters come and drop troops in, and pretty soon the battle is on. Well, finally the subversives are overcome, and then we have a parachute drop preceded by a drop by a weighted ribbon.
sudden updraft caused a red and white parachute to overfly, but he was picked up safely after landing on a flat roof in Bord na Móna. Was the Community Games Parade, and the parade is led by Tom Bulger on his homemade steam car. The games were organised to coincide with the festival week and were headed by the popular Kyle Dove Children's Band. The winners went on to compete in the National Community Games at Woodlands, and the local team figured very well in the results. During the week, a party was held for stand holders, members of the Junior Chamber and others associated with the project. Tom Gaffney at the organ and vocalist Mara Tidd. Larry Bradley, founder president of the chapter, does a little satire on our friend who demonstrated the kitchen combi holder slicer at the Brighter Homes exhibition.
Reverend Father, Reverend Mothers, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me whilst I gather together my various accoutrements for this demonstration. It's most unfortunate that our real live combi kitchen tool demonstrator is not available tonight. He had a slight accident and chopped off his four fingers. Now, he has asked me to stand in for him tonight. The combi tool is an all-purpose tool which comes into the country duty-free. I will demonstrate first of all what this I have been asked to demonstrate. Oh yes, I've been asked to demonstrate our new onion chopper. Now the onion chopper is very, very cheap. It comes to you in a very, very cellophane wrapped packet, and as you can see now, I will now continue to demonstrate it. It's very easy. That's the tomato you have just seen sliced. I will now continue to chop an onion. I will demonstrate the onion chop. Chop, 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 chop. Now ready for the pan. Now what more could be easier than that? Get down, Mickey, out of my way. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you now our home tool potato disintegrator. Chop, 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 bang, straight into the pan. Sorry, sir, very, very sorry, sir. I destroyed your suit. The chips are on me, the chips are on me. And now you must excuse me, I've got another demonstration of my weapons at the local Garda station. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
And John Brosnan, last year's president, as the majorette who took a shine to a junior chamberman and would not go back to Kilkenny. You must admit she has the sex appeal of a cement mixer.
And indeed, the Patrician Brothers' own sports were a great attraction in the 70s.
RPPP presents the various trophies, ably assisted by brothers Paul and Joseph.
And now it's pantomime time, 1977. Nick O'Keefe and Liam Ward in great form.
Listen, the whole thing about golf is your stance. Your stance, yes. Your stance, yes. You keep your shoulder high. Keep shoulder high. Your eye on the ball. The eye on the ball. And you keep swinging. What do you think of you? I'm fortunate. No, they here all day. We're not going to be here all day. I just want them all to bring your tea. No, but I tell you what, I have a couple of sandwiches.
And Marie O'Leary and Elizabeth Cook give a great performance as Prince Charming and Dandini.
I know. I'll give a ball to all my subjects. She surely will be there. A ball, sir. Yes, a ball. Dandini, I'll depend on you to organise everything.
And now some precision Irish dancing by the McGann sisters.
Miss Des Hogan as an ugly sister, and isn't she as charming as her eighth's demand note? Any wonder Liam Ward starts throwing eggs? And Sean Byrne as the Buttons, who woos Cinderella in vain. And who makes a fairy tale come true? Why, the fairy queen, of course, Sharon McNamara.
Thanks to her magic wand, Cinderella is off in style to the ball.
And the excellent choreography for the many fine dancing scenes was by Mrs. Burke.
But good performers shine brighter with such a backup team as Andy O'Byrne scenery, Noel McGovern and Harry Clark lighting, stage managing by Jimmy Fagan, Tony O'Connor, Jerry Cassidy and Tony Tracy.
Back for more kisses for me, say all your kisses for me. So long, baby, so long.
And as the bells of midnight speed Cinderella on her way, a song by tenor Martin Murphy.
On the skies is the light in your eyes. Soft as the charcoal cloud is the voice of my love. You are my heart's delight, and when I long to kiss, you make my darkness bright. When like a star you shine on me.
Cinderella back in her rags, but happily only for a while.
Belong to one another. Oh, happy, happy wedding day. Oh, happy, happy wedding day.
Excuse the slight order, I forgot to wash my feet last week. She didn't wash them since she was baptized. It's on, you dick. It's not on, you waste up. And it won't go on. Oh, you're right, I'm afraid. Afraid you'll have to try someone else. No, she'll say, dear Prince, I lost my heart.
Well, try your luck.
I never wouldn't make
The sisters owe their beautiful ugliness to makeup artist Marie Milan.
Come now, let it go. Are you satisfied with Cinderella? We hope that it is so. Far away, hold up your hands and say there's gonna be a great day. Angels in the sky promise that by and by there's gonna be a great day.
An excellent performance by Thomas Quinlivan as he continues in a duet with Elizabeth Cook.
Then take the love that I'm giving and make my life worth living.
And I've had enough of that love-making stuff. Leopold, I'm on.
And the grand finale brings a wonderful pantomime to a close for a very appreciative audience.
We hope we've entertained you and brought you lots of fun.
I tried my best with cinders. Of course I didn't win. But now she's got her prince, I'll take it with a grin.
And now I'm getting married. Oh, girls, the things you have to know. I'll be as good as Frankie Morton.
It's 1979, and it's the triumphant return concert of the Newbridge Dwan family, 5 sisters and a brother, after winning the Hughie Green Opportunity Knox contest 5 times and a Variety Club of Great Britain award, with backup musicians Paddy Jones and David Usher.
Prettiest on the wall, the jealous. Thank you. And a song which we feel sums up what we have to say about singing is our theme song.
This was a great achievement, firstly for your own family and your friends, and for Ireland, who are very proud of you in your win with the Hughie Green Opportunity Knox. The Jella Dwan, now O'Hanlon, relating the experience, each show and precision training and practice.
An awful lot of preparation, Peadar. We actually had to go up to town to, that's Dublin, to a dress designer every week, and we would, as soon as we knew that we'd won, we would skedaddle off up to Dublin and arrange the next outfit for the following week. It was also very expensive because each outfit, and remember there were 5 girls in it, and it worked out quite expensive. But having said that, it was well worth it because we looked very well.
Yes, it was quite a job keeping up with the different costumes and all that, and yeah, that took up a lot of your time, I suppose, seeing about those things.
Of course, and women being women, we all had different opinions, and of course it was the 70s when we had the big bell-bottom flares. I'm sure you remember those yourself, Patrick.
Yes, well, it was the type of performance that required quite elaborate outfitting, and certainly the bell-bottom outfits and the other great variations you had added to it.
Well, we did a lot of dancing as well, choreographed by Marion, my sister, and of course one needed to show off the leg work, and certainly the flares did that for us.
Very good. Well, it was also quite a challenge that while you were a forward-looking family and your other friends with you there and all that, but it was a big breakthrough to suddenly be on the media of Britain and into Ireland, and it was a very big display to be getting into, wasn't it?
Well, we had to grow up in the public limelight, remembering that we came from a parochial background. Newbridge itself we were just ordinary, what would you say, ordinary people, and we still are, of course, but you were transported then into a very sophisticated environment, and you were expected to act as when we did win Opportunity Knocks, we were regarded as stars by the public, and you had to act like that in the sense that you had to every week make sure you were dressed properly, make sure that you sang very well. We had to become professionals overnight, and that was very difficult for us to do because, as I said, we had very little training and we had come from a very parochial background, and it was most unexpected for us to win Opportunity Knocks.
Well, that was great. It was, you did yourselves proud and you did Ireland proud, and it was very good.
It was great.
Thank you very much.
Great sport.
Thanks very much, Michelle.
Okay, Bella.
Say that drinking and everything else stops at 11 o'clock, and still at 2 o'clock in the morning, the hands are on the place. So I'm looking forward maybe for a night to get back to you again. Mr. Chico.
At the 1979 Dinner and Social for retired personnel, jointly run by the Social Club and Irish Ropes.
And I think as Mr. and using Sidle. So I think furthermore we have some other joint common undertaking projects with us, utilizing Sidle, and exceeding years. I thank you very much, Mr. McCarthy, ladies and gentlemen.
Canteen manager Joe Howe pipes in the sweet and a birthday cake for Quinner Cash, who is now 29 years old. Paddy Doody thanking the Social Club and Irish Ropes, and now let's come to the cabaret. Of pantomime fame.
Was the young now to see her walking to the chapel with the hardest major man in Metropole. Now, boys, this is all I have to say. When you do your courting, make no display. If you want them to run after you, just walk the other way, for they're mostly like the pride of Metropole.
Tom Downey, a very long-serving member here, having a chat with Mick Culleton. Annie By nicely rendered there by Adrian Lavelle. A nice touch of Celtic culture there from Mick Burke's son and daughter, as social chairman Jack Lavelle gives the solo.
But me heart is sad and weary, how can she be Mrs. Larry? If I'm start for Philadelphia in the morning, with me bundle on me shoulder, sure there's no man can be bolder, and living there on the island without warning. For I lately took the notion to cross the briny ocean, and I'll start for Philadelphia.
Touch of nostalgia from veteran band leader Bobby Rogers, as the ever-popular band of Sean Keogh leads the party merriment. Champion boxer Jackie Byrne with a few rattles on the old bones.
Before you get your fiver, you said there was a fiver in that. The next dance, thank you very much.
And now, fresh from his tour of the night spots of the Hockfield Riviera, Jack Keogh.
And all the little chickens round the garden. We have order while Bill explains this bit of rope. It's very important. And it was used in Rosebery to hang all the lads he didn't like. So he'll tell you more about that later on. Right, Bill?
Bill Seaman with the first rope made by the firm, which will soon be woven into an artistic design.
First started years ago. Oh. And it is good today is the day it was made, 35 years ago. And I was the first man to run a bit of raw material in Irish ropes. Big hand for Bill. Thank you. Widow put out her right hand.
Company director Mr. John Bates among the merrymakers.
Here now, please.
Mrs. Halford of the Crescent is the widow of the year. And as you know, it's customary for a widow or a mother, we call her this time, to have a little bit of cash. From us, £25.
Eric MacDonald being called to the stage for recognition for his great work for boxing.
And he got 2 All-Ireland titles for Irish Oak Social Club and Irish Oaks Company. I think Eric deserves a big round of applause. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
And it goes like this. Dear Eric, on behalf of the Committee of Irish Oak Social Club, I would like to convey our sincere thanks to you for all the time and energy you contributed to the boxing section of the club. As a token of our gratitude and appreciation, we would like you and your family to accept a week's holidays in Woodlands at our expense.
Social Club Secretary there, Joe Mead, doing the honours as the merrymaking continues for a night to be remembered by all.
And now to the countryside, Clongorry, where Kellys are harvesting the wheat. It's 1970, and though the Kellys are progressive mixed farmers, they stayed with the old grain harvesting methods for several reasons: limited farm and field size, their love for horses, availability of the old threshing mill, and above all, the social interplay. Fine looking cock pheasant disturbed here, but he's well fit to look after himself. Time for the thrashing now, and this is Charlie Clark's mill of 2 Mile House, and it is widely believed that this may be the last thrashing in County Kildare, or even a wider field. And here we see Charlie Clark attending to his machinery. In the final days of thrashings, they were driven by the diesel tractor, but here's a steam engine in a Peadar Newbridge, once used in thrashings. In the late 1970s, Pollardstown Fen, which had been on the threat, was made more secure by the announcement by the Minister for Forestry and Fisheries, Paddy Power, of the Department's acquisition of lands adjoining the fen.
Fenland in Europe, it will be unique from a flora point of view in Europe too. And
Michael O'Brien Newbridge and Bill Canahan Nace standing behind Paddy.
Engaged in negotiations with the landowners to acquire this land and to reach a price. A history that will cover in the area of the Samarok. Pollardstown will represent in the area and how boglands are laid down. Timahore could well represent.
Pollardstown Fen, the largest in Ireland, extends from near the hill of Allen to the outskirts of Newbridge. Comprising 300 acres, it is 1.5 miles in length and 3/4 of a mile wide. A fen is a peatland area where the peatland is prevented from becoming acidic, as happens in a bog, by the abundant supplies of water rich in calcium. Recent reclamation and drainage by farmers has eaten into the fen, but hopefully the acquisition of the lands affected will result in the arrest of the drop in the water level, thus safeguarding the supply of water to the Grand Canal and the wide range of marsh flora which is of international renown. The main flow emerges from the basin comprising 7 springs. The waters seep from the vast gravel catchments nearby, as well as the vast quantities of gravel which lie under the Curragh Plains. These vast filter beds leave the water crystal clear, and the qualities of the limestone gravel give a rich calcium concentration. But we must also give credit to the humble snail. Snails like this one breakfasting on a leaf help to keep the water pure by eating a lot of the algae which may tend to form in still corners of the stream. A large variety of snails can be found in the fen. A large portion of the fen is the property of Bord na Móna, whose expert Charlie Shire takes a keen interest in the fen.
This is the central stream down through the fen, bringing water from the 7 springs, joining with another stream from the other side, forming and flowing on through Milltown and bringing water into the canal at the summit level near Robertstown.
The tallest of the fen flora is at the perimeter, such as this monkey flower and the willow herb, hemp agrimony with its pink variations, meadow sweet with its heavenly fragrance is much sought after by insects for its pollen, a valuable source of food for the young. The bulrush or reed mace is of course much favoured by flower arrangers. Cottongrass, better known as bog cotton. The ragged robin, aptly named because of its tattered petals. The marsh marigold, which is common to many wetlands. And in the fen here, the cuckoo flower is seen at its best. Even the perimeter of the fen is pretty isolated from roads, and wildlife like the pheasant will nest at random on the undergrowth. Local conditions regarding predators, etc., will influence nest location. For instance, this mallard building 6 foot off the ground in a tree. The tree nesting thrush in a bunch of nettles. The coast finds plenty of cover in the tallest vegetation of the water's edge. The otter here are very shy and rarely seen by humans. The peaty canal banks are very suitable for the otter's burrow. The Irish hare, a vegetarian, has the best of both worlds from the fen perimeter and pasture land. Local wildlife enthusiast Tom Gaffney looking for tracks. The almost extinct Arctic blue hare is seen in North Kildare on rare occasions.
Here we are in a damp depression on the edge of the fen, which, as you can see, is dominated by the reed Phragmites. The reed is found throughout all of the fen, in the centre with the cladium, but along the outskirts, especially in the deeper, damper pockets, it is very dominant. At this time of the year, it can be seen in flower. There's a purple sheen across the top of the stand and a silvery reflection of the sunlight on the seed.
Right up to about 1910, the reed Phragmites was widely used for thatching cottages.
The central area of the fen is dominated by the sausage, Cladium meriscus, and it is this large expanse of cladium that makes Pollardstown internationally and botanically important. The cladium is a calcic coal, and it is found where the groundwater contains a high proportion of lime and other mineral nutrients. Together with the reed Phragmites, it is responsible for fen peat formation beneath the sphagnum peats of the central bogs in the centre of Ireland.
The rich waters of the fen support a fascinating delicate greenish-white flower is more difficult to find, only growing in undisturbed areas. The fly orchid is a great curiosity, as the flower takes the shape of a fly. The butterwort is one of the noted insectivorous plants with sticky surface which trap and hold small insects. Small glands then release enzymes necessary to digest the prey on the plant exterior. The food is then absorbed into the leaves. The sundew has a similar secretion on these projectiles which bend over to secure the trapped insect. Here we go underwater to see the bladderwort, which grows without any roots. When the delicate feelers on the deflated bladder indicate that a tiny aquatic life form is close, the bladder expands suddenly, sucking in the food. A sprinkling of bell heather can be seen on the high spots, also the better known ling heather. Though heather is by no means a dominant feature of the fen, honey from this and other fen flora contributes to the intake of local beehives. The speckled wood is just one of a fascinating variety of butterflies here. The rich flora of the fen with its nutritious pollen produces the finest specimens in the country. Like this red admiral. Joe Kavanagh of Newbridge has a fine collection.
There are 39 species of butterflies to be found in Ireland, of which we have 20 shown here. The most common to the fen are the red admiral, which is found between May and August, the peacock, the tortoiseshell, and the painted lady also. Of the white family, we have the orange tip, found between May and early June, and the brimstone, found between March and early June as well. Of the blue family, we have the small blue, which is very common to the fen, and feeds on trefoil or common clover.
By early July, the first hatch of damselflies add to the colour of this fairyland. Mating takes place right through July and August. Following copulation, the ritual continues until the female drops to the water where she lays her eggs. In the past 50,000 years, most plant life as we know it today has evolved from a more primitive form. This rush-like plant, horsetail, is one of the most primitive forms known, having existed on Earth in this form for 300 million years.
The larva or nymph of the damselfly will remain underwater for a year and is carnivorous. The larger dragonfly has the same breeding habits. This nymph will soon be transformed into a creature of great beauty with a wingspan in the ideal conditions of the fen of up to 8 centimetres.
The newt is a close relative of the frog, but it retains its tail and only lays 1 egg, whereas the frog spawns profusely. The spotted one is the male.
And as the evening light casts its mantle of enchantment o'er the fen, and each creature goes to sleep, let's hope that Ireland will awaken fully to the need to safeguard the treasures still unspoiled in our national heritage.
Well, I'm glad you could be with us on this trip through Newbridge of the 70s. And as we approach not just a new century, but a new millennium, I wish that God's blessing may be on you, both now and as we cross the threshold of the new millennium. Thank you. And to play us out, some scenes of Newbridge 97.